Hey guys, this is Frenzy bringing you another game from MLG Columbus. It'll be between the JulyZerg July, spawning in the top right position, and in the red as Protoss ROOTKiWiKaKi. It'll be on Typhon Peaks. Two very fearsome competitors. KiWiKaKi, one of the best Protosses of all time right now, and JulyZerg is absolutely one of the tip-top Zergs in Korea right now. So I'll have to see. It looks like a gas pool coming up from July. 12, actually a little bit of a later gateway from KiWiKaKi, getting a little bit more greedy because of this big map. He wants to get a little bit more of an economic advantage. Throwing down about a 14 gateway, 15 gas. We have KiWiKaKi here going for his 14-14 build, going to get that speed out very quickly, maybe put on some pressure, but definitely will be good against any early pressure coming out from KiWiKaKi. This pylon in the grass, a very good placement of this pylon. Keep him safe from any future Nidus play or a proxy hatch, little cheeses that you can scout. Just having this pylon around in these areas just to have good vision from the outskirts of your main. Any overlords that try to come in for a scout, you can see them quite quickly. So it's definitely nice to position these pylons around your base like this. Pulling guys off of gas, just getting that speed down right now. July probably will be taking his expansion very shortly, probably with this drone here. Looks like he's going to come right down here and plant down his expansion. Make sure there's no pylon here, and there goes the expansion down. First queen coming out for July. We'll probably see another one following this up and taking this queen down and meeting at the natural as soon as it gets up. We have Warp Gate coming out here, not being chrono boosted quite yet. Still chrono boosting probes out here. These Zerglings are going to try to get in, but they're not going to get in. This Zealot is on hold position. KiWiKaKi is not one to make those little slight mistakes. Still chrono boosting probes, got a lot of sentries queued up here. Gonna get a lot of those out. Probably gonna go for some sort of 3-gate expansion. Throwing one harvester back into gas, and only one. That's kind of interesting. Gonna throw down this creep tumor and go right over to this natural expansion to inject larva there. Warp gate about halfway done. Nothing yet. 2 more gateways coming down now out of KiWiKaKi. So we will be seeing, is there going to be a 4th? Okay, there is a 4th gateway. Now the interesting thing will be if he's going to get aggressive with this 4-gate or if he's just going to use it as a safer expansion. A lot of Protoss have been doing this lately, getting 4 gates instead of the used to be standard 3-gate expand, just because this warp gate research is so much longer. They need those extra units out afterwards to really stay defensive against a Roachling all-in that have been becoming very popular out of Zergs nowadays. Getting up to 2nd gas in the natural expansion, and it looks like he is probably going to get a fast +1 before lair. I've seen a lot of these Koreans doing this. I saw Losira yesterday doing a game with the fast +1 before lair, and now July seems to be doing the same thing. So that's very interesting. I haven't seen many North American players doing that. And that is one thing that I see a lot of Koreans doing lately. So the lair is going up now before the +1. But he does have the gas. As soon as this gets up, he will probably start +1 range or melee, depending on what he's going for as his composition this game. Or possibly even carapace if he hasn't made up his mind yet. Something that I favor doing sometimes before I make up my mind is if I'm going Ling Baneling with drops or roaches, I'll get this carapace started. So he is taking both of his other gas geysers here. Hasn't quite used this evolution chamber yet. Possibly just a safety evolution chamber to throw down some spore crawlers if he needed to as either detection or against a Stargate play. Not really sure. A lot of sentries and zealots out here. One stalker finally warping its way in. He is getting hallucination up. And these Zerglings are just poking around, getting a good feel for the army composition. He is getting burrow up and 2 roaches. Has a lot of roaches just sitting here. Looks like he's equal harvesters with KiWiKaKi right now. So pretty good for position for the Protoss to be in here. This Zergling did get into the main, scouting absolutely everything. Just sees the 4 warp gates. Nothing too out of the ordinary. Before he gets shot down. Finally, the Robo facility is coming up here. So it looks like he is going to be favoring that robotics build. We'll see if he goes for Colossus or he sticks onto Immortal until the Zerg gets some Hydralisks out or Infestors. Roach speed coming up here. And he's going to be proactive about taking down these rocks to open up extra attack routes later into the game. Very good thing to do. Just going to open up this in case he knows the third's going to come up in this area. So if he can open up these rocks beforehand, he can counterattack into this. He can do multiple attacks at the front and here. It's always good to open up your attack routes as Zerg for the later stages of the game. We do have the third coming online for JulyZerg here. KiWiKaKi getting his forge up, probably going to see some upgrades soon. We do have that +1 missile attacks for JulyZerg coming down. He is getting an observer out of the robotics facility here. We see quite a few roaches coming out for July. He might be gearing up to do a push, a little timing push once speed, and it just finishes, and he looks like he is moving out here. This hallucinated Phoenix is going to probably scout these roaches coming in, and it does see them. So we'll have to see. There's a Spire coming up. I'm wondering if he's going to go into a Mutalist switch, or if it's just a safety Spire in case he's getting these Colossus that are coming down right now. A Photon Cannon coming down. A lot of sentries with a lot of energy here. He can't be too over-aggressive and get caught out of position. This Overseer is going to come in and see absolutely everything. Going to see these 2 extra gateways, the Robo Bay and the Robo Facility, and this Immortal coming out, if it does poke in here at all. But it looks like it does get denied with these 2 Stalkers. Meanwhile, we almost saw an engagement here, but JulyZerg is going to play it safe and not get caught with these force fields. He is droning up this 3rd base quite nicely right now behind all of this. The first Colossus is coming out right now, and still +1 weapons on the way. Range upgrade for Colossus coming down. And it looks like KiWiKaKi is going to open up this very quick attack route and probably do a push with maybe this first Colossus, or he's just opening this up for the later stages of the game. It's always annoying as Zerg to know that the Protoss can attack you at any moment through this little back door here. He is using that rock, those broken rocks down right now to use this extra attack route to kind of catch KiWiKaKi off guard a little bit. But he's going to have to be careful around this ramp. He doesn't want to get half of his roaches split up, and there is the force fields going down. Half of his roaches are split up, and then he splits them again. He does get out through this little attack route, but he loses about 5 or 6 roaches right there for absolutely nothing. He really has to be careful with his roaches here to not lose too many. There is a couple Mutalisks coming down. We do have quite a few on the field. It looks like 13 out right now. So a lot of these players are favoring a mid-game Mutalist switch, which I like a lot. As soon as they tech into this Colossus, it's kind of a waste of money because these Mutalists are just, you have to get so many Stalkers out to deal with them. And he doesn't quite have Blink yet to deal with this either, so these Mutalists could do a lot of damage if he gets caught out of position at all. It really is going to keep him pinned back to his base for quite some time. Meanwhile, he has a Baneling nest up, and he's getting centrifugal hooks, the speed upgrade for the Banelings also. So some very interesting play, getting all of his tech buildings up on this lair tech right now. Looks like he's got about 2 Colossus in this mix, and he looks to be gearing up for a push. This third is going to get denied, and he just cancels it, and he wants to go for the push here. And this is actually going to be kind of scary for July. He's probably just going to counterattack. Quite a few Banelings morphed onto this creep here, and speed is just about to be finished. And July is poking in here, and it looks like it's going to force KiWiKaKi to come back. And he's just going to try to leave, losing a couple roaches there, but definitely slowing down that push, making him bring his entire army all the way back to his base. buying himself a little bit more time to get this baneling speed and these extra banelings up. A couple spine crawlers here for this very fragile Mutalisk army. In case he does attack quickly, he has to attack into these spine crawlers. And here comes that push from KiWiKaKi. And another counterattack coming in to the natural here. It looks like he's going to sandwich this entire army. Coming through this choke with these Mutalisk Lings and Roaches coming up from behind here. Force field sandwiching in KiWiKaKi's army, trying to keep JulyZerg away. But these are doing so much damage. The Banelings coming in, doing so much damage to the Stalkers and Colossus. They were so tight from those force fields sandwiching them that as soon as the force fields came down, these Banelings rolled in and just did so much damage. It teared apart the army of KiWiKaKi. Some excellent play with those Banelings from JulyZerg here. But he is behind on upgrades, and when that Protoss army gets up, if he is able to rebuild it here, and he gets those upgrades over JulyZerg, it's going to be extremely cost-effective against the Zerg. But we'll have to see, because July has a very big timing window, and I know how July loves to get that extremely hyper-aggressive style going on when he seems to have an army advantage. And here he comes, going down this path that KiWiKaKi opened up with a ton of Banelings and nothing really to stop them, no blanket, no force fields. And they're just going to surround all of these Stalkers, and they all go down. And there's really nothing that KiWiKaKi can do. 3 cannons just from the Banelings because they were too close together, and these Banelings are just ripping through everything. Denying maining from the natural now. He doesn't have that many units, but the damage was really done. He made all the probes leave, killed all these cannons for his next push. And here comes his next push with Roaches and 1 Mutalisk here. There is 1 Colossus out. He's going to have to be very careful with that. The Roaches are trying to chase it down. But if he gets up to this high ground, he will be in a pretty nice position. He has to be very, very careful, though, to not lose this Colossus, because that's really key in trying to hold this. These probes are going down. He splits his Roaches up, and he's just chasing down this Colossus, and it will go down. Pulling probes, trying to do anything to defend this Roach attack here. Meanwhile, you got a ton of Zerglings right here. Wondering if he's going to morph them into Banelings. And he just burrows these Roaches, but there is an observer here. So he will be able to attack them, and then he waits for the Ling reinforcements, and then he unburrows. And he's just doing so much damage. And KiWiKaKi GG's, and July takes the first game in this series. We'll jump right into game number 2. So definitely check that out.